Tonight's opener in Pamplona was already billed as a high-stakes curtain raiser for Real Madrid's new season. But the match-day build-up has been hijacked by a controversy that feels more like courtroom teasers than pre-match tactics. Franco Mastantuono, the teenager who arrived from River Plate amid huge transfer headlines, is officially registered with Real Madrid Castilla and assigned the number 30 shirt. Yes, all signs show he's been training with the first team and was named in squad lists for the La Liga opener. A procedural choice that has Osasuna warning of legal action if he steps onto the pitch. Why would a club of Real Madrid's size register a multi-million signing with the reserve side? On paper, the answer is straightforward. Spanish Federation rules let reserve team players alternate with the senior side, and players registered with Castilla may wear numbers above 25. So the number 30 choice fits those regulations. Clubs sometimes use this mechanism to keep the coveted 1 to 25 slots free during a transfer window, offering flexibility to add another senior signing later. But what transforms a bureaucratic workaround into a flashpoint is intent. Critics say that when a high-profile, expensive signing is treated as a reserve player on paper while clearly functioning as a first-team reinforcement, that crosses into a legal grey area. Osasuna's response has been immediate and stern. According to sources in Navarra, they are preparing legal reports and have made clear they could file a complaint alleging fraud of law if Mastantuono is fielded as a Castilla player in a top-flight match. That's not an idle threat. Osasuna previously lodged a complaint over a separate alignment issue involving Íñigo Martínez. And the club's willingness to pursue institutional routes means this could quickly escalate from social media outrage to a formal sports tribunal case. The heart of Osasuna's argument is that sporting integrity is damaged when registration rules are used in bad faith to manipulate squad limits or non-EU restrictions. Legal voices in Spanish football have been watching closely. Miguel Garan, a lawyer who specialises in football matters, has pointed out that if a player is presented publicly and operated like a first-team signing, yet technically holds a Castilla contract, competition committees will have to decide whether there's been an improper alignment. Galan flagged that recent regulatory changes around squad numbers and dependent team rules mean federative bodies could interpret the law narrowly or broadly. The test will be whether they see this as legitimate roster management or as an artificial construction to evade the spirit of the rules. That interpretation could set an important precedent. From Real Madrid's perspective, the club insists it's followed the letter of RFEF rules. Reserve team registration with permissive clauses allows those players to appear for the first team, and similar approaches have historical precedent. The counter-argument, pushed by Osasuna and some pundits, is about sporting intent rather than technical compliance. And sporting authorities now face a politically sensitive judgment call. Do they punish what might be clever administration, or do they clamp down to prevent wealthy clubs from bending registration rules? Either path has consequences, not only for tonight's 90 minutes, but for how transfers and squad planning are handled across La Liga. But while the legal papers are being prepared and pundits debate precedents, the human story remains. An 18-year-old arriving in Europe, eager to make his debut and wear his preferred shirt, suddenly finds his first steps in elite football taking place under a legal spotlight. Will Mastantuono come off the bench, as some reports suggest he might? Or will Real Madrid opt to protect the club from a possible complaint and postpone his maiden appearance to avoid a post-match protest that could turn a celebratory debut into a sanctions case? Either decision will be read as tactical, a club risking a legal test or a club choosing caution to avoid institutional fallout. For neutral observers, the bigger lesson is structural. The episode exposes a tension between modern transfer market realities, where teenagers can command eye-watering fees, and federation rules crafted for a different era. If Osasuna proceeds legally and wins, sanctions or a rule tightening could follow. If the complaint fails or is never filed, the registration tactic may become more common, prompting calls for clearer wording in RFEF statutes and La Liga enforcement guidelines. Tonight's game in Pamplona is therefore more than a curtain raiser. It's the opening chapter in a potential institutional showdown that could change how clubs register players and manage squad numbers across Spanish football.